Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg, entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I spend a lot of time on my computer, and I'm not that great at it. And I guess I'm still naive, which I shouldn't be, but I've been getting a lot of stuff that turned out to be fake. So I got in touch with Can Do Technology, which is a service that helps older people, although, you know, I've met several friends of my own children who have been using it, but it helps people deal with things they didn't think they could deal with. Like, how do I stay safe online? How do I know that those 10 messages from a major company are not real? Elizabeth Hamburg, who is the head of Can Do Tech, can answer, I hope, all these questions. Is there any special secrets for staying safe online, Liz?
Well, there are some tips that we like to share. And I will say I'm proud of you because you actually were able to spot not only fake emails, but also I think in this case, it was a text message that you got. And when you called into Can Do Tech, you thought that your Amazon account had been locked, and you were able to share the text message with me. And it did. Your text message, which went into your iPhone, said your Amazon account has been locked. We recently received multiple failed login attempts. To recover your account, immediately click the link below. And so most people, you know, would just immediately say, oh my God, I got to get onto Amazon. Let me click the link. You had the insight, which I'm proud of you, to have called and said, you know what, I think this might be a fake. Mm-hmm. And Can Do immediately said, okay, here's what to look for. Now, do you remember what are the things that they taught you how to figure out whether it was a fake or not? We're going to give you a little quiz.
Well,
there were two things.
That it didn't mention the company in the right way, and that the link looked a little suspicious. And
exactly. The email, and we'll share it through your social media. We'll put it on your Twitter, or your Instagram, or Facebook, just to share with people what it looked like. But the top said it was coming from an email address that had nothing to do with Amazon, and then the link was some crazy numbers, and then it said onlinehome.u something.recover account. It had Amazon was nowhere in there. So that's really the first key. Is if you do get what you think may be a suspicious email or text message, and a lot of them are through text message now, don't click on anything before you take a very close look at the email address that it's coming from and the link. And that's really the most important thing. A lot of times there's misspelling. So if you get an email, and even, for example, sometimes there's British spelling where there should be American. You know, for example, we've seen things that say center, C-E-N-T-R-E, instead of C-E-N-T-E-R, coming from what should be, you know, what they say is Netflix or from Best Buy. And of course, you know, if it's a U.S. company sending to a U.S. client, they would never spell something in a British way. So that's very simple, small things, but very often giveaways. Typos, adding an S at the end, you know, so it may be bestbuys.com instead of Best Buy. So definitely things to look out, both on email as well as phone, and then as well as text message. We've also been hearing a lot about phone scams, and I just saw an article that someone sent me yesterday saying that these AI bots, you know, these chat GPT and all of these things that you've been hearing about are now able to send robocalls, so that it's basically a robot calling random numbers and telling you that you have a family member in distress. They make them sound like a family member. Very, very scary. And so just be very aware of phone scams. You know, the most popular one that we keep hearing about is someone calling saying, oh, I'm a grandchild, I'm your grandson or granddaughter, and I've been arrested, and please send, $150. And so, of course, if you hear that, you're not thinking straight. You immediately are like, oh, my God, let me help my grandchild. Mm-hmm. And they're able to get people wiring money, even the smartest of people. So that's another really important scam to look for.
But let me ask you this. Okay, I was going to say, all right, let's say that, which turned out to be true, that you have been hacked. What do you do? I mean, do we call Can Do? Do we do what?
Well, and this happened to a friend of yours I know who also called in a panic, and she got some very weird message on her computer saying it was going to be shut down. So the first thing you want to do is turn off your computer and unhook it from any kind of Wi-Fi or internet. So if you think that someone's gotten onto your computer, make sure that you shut it down immediately. If it's your phone, turn it off, get it off of Wi-Fi. And then you should try to call for assistance. If you have a family member who can help, call a family member. If you have a plan, for example, if you are a member of Best Buy or Geek Squad, you can call that. We do support that at Can Do Tech. You can call us at 646-758-6606. You can email us at support@candotech.com. It's CANDOO, 2 O's, candotech.com. But you definitely want to make sure that you've got a professional who can help. And then typically it's pretty easy to just make sure if there's malware or something that's been put on your computer, that can be wiped out and cleaned out. If you suspect any suspicious activity, if you think that you've been hacked on your credit cards or bank, make sure that you call your credit card company or bank company or your bank and make sure that you let them know that credit card should be suspended, or you should see if there's any suspicious charges on your credit card or any suspicious withdrawals or transfers into or out of your bank.
And what about passwords? Or don't we have too many? How do you deal with that if you have issues?
Well, the passwords are crazy, right? Because none of us remember our passwords. There is a great thing called a password manager, which can be set up, and that will automatically save your passwords in a really safe and secure way. And you can also give access to someone you trust. So, for example, if you wanted to give your family member access to your passwords to keep in a secure location, you can share it through a password manager. So we do recommend that. If you're not using a password manager, we recommend creating strong passwords. The best is to use a lowercase and uppercase letters and then some special character, like a exclamation point or an @ sign. The longer, the better. Try not to use personal information. I know we've all done it, the dog's name, a grandchild's name, your birthday, family member. And then try not to write it down and keep them all in one place. Because if, God forbid, you lose that piece of paper, if it's in your wallet or you're traveling with it, you've automatically given someone access. So, you can write it down, but I like to write it down in sort of code, so like instead of saying, the name of the dog, I'll just put, dog birthday or something like that. So it's not, so obvious that someone can just copy and paste it.
All right. Good information, good advice. Thank you so much. And to get in touch with Can Do Technology?
So you can call us at 646-758-6606. You can email us support@candotech.com. The website is cando, CANDOO, tech.com. And we're not only there to help when something goes wrong, but we're doing a lot around education, because the more that we find people are comfortable with their technology, and I know you're now writing something and you just learned how to use Pages and save it and email it. So we do a lot around education as well. So if you've got a new device, you want to learn how to use it, if you need to get onto a telemedicine visit, if you want to learn how to watch Netflix with closed captioning on, if you want to learn how to save and organize your photos. Those are all kind of things we do. Everything is remote,
Right.
so no one comes into your home. We share a screen. It's all safe, and all U.S.-based tech concierges. So we really pride ourselves and take safety and security really, really seriously.
Right. And so many people now need to order food and groceries online and packages and stuff, gifts. And it's really good to have a service help you. I know.
Absolutely. I mean,
it.
even tax time, if you're getting a something from your accountant saying, sign this and send it back to us. I mean, everything right now is being done online. And if you don't have an email address, you're really at a handicap. The good news is that we work with people who literally have never had an email address, never had a smartphone, and we can get them comfortable. Our oldest so far is 105, but we work with all different ages.
Okay, it sounds good. Thank you, Miss Liz. I really appreciate it. We'll talk soon. By the way, I just realized I forgot to mention Liz is my daughter. But I legitimately, forget the daughter, I use that service and have, because I'm not a tech wizard. And sometimes I'm embarrassed to call them for things I think are simple. But nothing is simple, and they take care of it. And it makes it possible for me to get everything done. And now I feel much more confident. So thank you, Liz. Thank you, Can Do Tech. And yeah. Liz.
I was going to say you and Dad were an inspiration for starting Can Do Tech, because you did call me all the time. And at some point I said, you know what, I'm not the best person to handle this. I'm not the most patient and I can't explain it well. And you were really an inspiration for starting this, because I realized that there are so many people who need technology. And you were always a great typist. I remember you encouraged me to learn how to touch type years ago. You always, typed your work, but when it came to other technology,
not so
you were
good.
afraid. So I'm very impressed now with everything that you've learned. You're sending money through Venmo, and you're Apple Paying, and you're doing a lot of stuff that you weren't able to do before. So very proud of all you.
I know, but I'm still insecure, which is why I need the service. I do need a little hand holding every now and then, so it's important. All right,
well, thank you.
I'm glad. Thank you, Liz. We'll talk soon. And I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WAVC.